it's one thing to attain your trade certificate, or otherwise known as your red seal. It's another thing to gain years of experience in the industry, in the trade and your industry. It's even another thing to perhaps start your own successful plumbing company and even create employment for others. But is that the ceiling? Is that all? Or is there something else for plumbers to achieve, something more? Welcome to another business-orientated episode of the Professional Plumber Podcast. I'm your host, Willem Klopper, and joining me for this episode is none other than Miss Lorraine Mooi herself, a qualified plumber, an experienced plumber, a registered plumber, then also a plumbing auditor, the co-founder and the president of South African Women in Plumbing. Lorraine, is there anything more that we can say and add to that list?
I am award-winning as well. I have
There you go.
won the Ideal Propeller Entrepreneur of 2023, Industry Lady of the Year, 2 times in a row, 2018, 2019. So yeah, that's like just the start of my life.
But you know what? It all goes to show that you've got that hunger, you've got that drive, you've got that enthusiasm about your trade and your industry. You've got that ambition to move forward and move ahead. And that's one of the things that we're going to discuss in this episode. So yeah, we're going to focus on another type of achievement. We can even refer to it as sort of another level for plumbers to achieve. And it's an interesting topic, an interesting subject, and I think that there's much that can be said about it. But I think before the two of us, delve into the delicious conversation, I think let's just quickly cross to an ad break. For our listeners and our viewers, please do stay tuned for the ad break, because these advertisements are for your interest and your benefit. Lorraine and myself will be back right now.
Shifter? Ja, thank you. My bro, this CPD of this is a complete waste of my time. I know this thing very well. It's in my blood. I pride myself in this. I don't need help from a bunch of paper pushers while I'm doing the real work.
Are you someone who thinks, it can never happen to me? Are you someone who does not consider the long-term effects of not being willing to learn more?
CPD is not in place as a burden to the plumber, but rather as a mechanism to ensure that you remain up to date and current with new material, products, standards, and of course, ways of doing installation.
In addition, the CPD Rewards program's intent is to ensure that you receive great rewards while in pursuit of becoming a better version of you, for the benefit of yourself and that of your customers.
So here's how it works. Depending on your level of tiers, whether you are blue, bronze, silver, gold, or diamond, you stand a chance in being rewarded with discounts on COCs, Proud Plumber t-shirts, your annual renewal, and of course, various other prizes.
Welcome back to this lekker business-orientated episode of the Professional Plumber Podcast with myself, Willem Klopper, and my guest, Miss Lorraine Mooi. Now, I did introduce you, Lorraine, to our listeners and our viewers, our audience out there, and I rumbled off a complete list of all your achievements, all your qualifications, but I'm going to shoot something that our viewers and our our viewers and our listeners may not know about you, right? They may know all of the things that you've done in the plumbing industry, but what happened before that, ne? So I dug up a bit of your history and I found out that quite some time ago, you attained a qualification in financial information. Is that true?
It's very true. I still have the certificate.
Yeah.
It's sitting on the wall somewhere.
But then this hocha bit you, this completely different industry. What was it about this trade, about the trade of plumbing and the plumbing industry that sort of drew your attention and sort of tickled your attention, your interest to say, hello, this is a career path for you?
Well, that didn't happen up until
I
while
always
after.
thought you were going to say,
No.
well, that didn't happen at all.
No,
Willem."
it
That's-
didn't happen. It didn't happen the way I think people are always fascinated, and I was like, because it's my life. I also like I ramble on like it's, this is what happened, but other people was like, what? So when I was in high school, I was in matric, and I didn't know what to do with my life. And coming from the family that I have, my mother's highly ambitious. She was like, you're not going to sit at home. So I thought, okay, fine. What do I have like an aptitude in? I was like, okay, this accounting thing might work. So I went to CPUT, which is Cape Peninsula University of Technology, and they had a program called Financial Information Systems. And I thought, this sounds fancy. Sounds nice. Like there's accounting, and then over here we're gonna do programming things. And I was like, okay, so we do it like obviously not at the same time. Boy, was I wrong. We were 135 in first year. By third year, we were 38.
It's like doctor's degree.
And by the time we graduated, we were 18 that passed first time. The rest had to go to summer school. I wasn't part of that group. Yeah. And in third year, there was a point where I was 20 years old because I started at school a little bit early. So I was 20 years old, and I thought to myself, this is going to be my life. Like boxes and I can't. This is not for me. And my mom is from the Eastern Cape, and she was our home is in Transkei actually, Butterworth. And I went home. And I was like, so mom, she's like, oh Lord, what now? And I was like, this is not what I want to do with my life. And at that point, my mother had started a construction business, but she had decided that she wanted to specialize in something. So she was like, plumbing. She's like, people need to eat. So we'll do the plumbing one. And so then my mom started off this journey with a TVET college. And then she said to me, you've got a year. It's either you go work or you work with me. So me thinking, lesser of two evils, my mother, was I wrong? She said, I said, well, I'll do the plumbing thing with you. She's like, oh, okay. And my first job was installing 7 toilets in a hospital that's in use. That are
In use.
In use. I can still see those toilets very clearly. And she said to me, so what you need to do is that you need to you're going to remove the pans, and then you're going to put the systems. I was like, why are we frying? Because the pan is where you fry in. I'm so confused. And I said to her, so where are the people? She's like, you are the people. I was like, you? I'm like, I'm getting paid, right? Like,
Hopefully a lot.
No, she just said to me, if you do not perform, you will not get paid. I was like, oh, okay. And she showed me how to install the first toilet, and I said, okay, fine. And she left, and she was like, remember, time is money. I've got things to do. I'm going to another side. She said a whole lot of things. And at that point, I almost was going to pee my pants. Luckily, I was in the toilet. And it was there while I was holding the third pan. I was holding it, and I remember I said, I'm in love. And I said, this is it for me. There's nothing else that I want to do with my life except for this. And anybody who knows me, once I get an idea in my head, nothing's going to shake me. And what then transpired was that my father's a medical doctor. When I told him now that I want to become a plumber, he then said to me, how can you go from something as high as finance to something as low as plumbing? And then decided to disown me because of that. And I stuck to my guns, and I said, well, I'm going to do this thing. And my mother and we started the journey together. And because I always tell people you cannot become something you don't see. And because I watched her, my mother was in corporate, like proper corporate, like the high heels, the hair, like everything. And then she went and she became this contractor. It was like night and day. And I remember having this experience and watching her. And I just thought to myself, this is the coolest thing ever. And from that day on, and this was in 2008, the bug bit me and I was like, this is it. And we then spent the next 5 years outstay behind and work to make money for school fees while she went to Pretoria. And that's what we did for 5 years. And then 2013, I qualified. First time, guys, first time. First time. I like to highlight that and bold. By the 2nd of July, 2013, at 10 o'clock, I was qualified.
Qualified plumber.
Qualified,
Red seal,
competent.
baby. Let's red seal.
I get very excited about that. My mom, on the other hand, only qualified later in the month. I put her through quite a bit. I was like, the plumber needs. was a lot of fun. But then I realized there's got to be more. And what happened was that we actually bid for work. And unfortunately, we lost out because we weren't IOPSA members. I was like, who's this IOPSA now? What now? And then another client says to me, I need a COC. I'm like, oh, who? Oh. So I was like, okay, all right. I've got this qualification now. What more? And from there, I started researching because Google is my friend. Started researching. We then became part of the IOPSA in the border region. I was part of the committee. They made me the secretary. I was like, no, I don't do that. Someone else started taking minutes, not me. That was 2016. 2017, there was a call for the Plumbing Industry Registration Board, EXCO members. And I'm always just like, the worst they can say is no. Me, I'm going. Submitted, and I was accepted. And 2018, I won Industry Lady of the Year the first time. And then 2019, I was the host for the awards, and then I won as well. I was a bit suspicious when they were like, you can't hand out the awards. And I was like, but why can't I? But anyway. But I then won it the second time. And then it became a thing of, but it can't always be me. Why am I the only one in the room?
Okay.
And
okay.
That is where the idea for South African Women in Plumbing and Trades came from, was that there's got to be more. How do we advocate? Because if I had never seen my mother become a plumber, I would be stuck in some very horrible desk job, probably earning quite a bit of money, good, computers and whatever. But I would not have the joy that I have right now. I love plumbing. When I rattle off my CV, when I tell people, I'm the transformation chairperson, I sit at SABS on 3 technical committees, I'm woman in water lead. All of those things are all interlinked because I love what I do. Mm-hmm. It is, I'm the stakeholder relationship manager of the Institute of Plumbing South Africa. I'm the president of this organization. And I don't say that because it's just merely a brag, but it is to show what is possible. When I became a compliance auditor in 2018, oh my word, that was like one of the happiest days of my life. I had been dying to tell a man he's doing something wrong. Because there's mostly males in our industry, guys. Yeah. I mean, really, don't come for me.
Currently, ne?
Currently, no, but we've gotten better. I have to say, though, in the last 5 years, we've seen, 168 jump in women.
Wow.
We've got, almost 3% representation of the professional body.
Sure.
And so how do you, like I said, you cannot become something you don't see. And that's why advocacy is so important. That is why I'm so vocal about the plumbing industry. But trades in general. Not everybody will be a plumber. Maybe you'll become a bricklayer, you'll be a carpenter. But the plumbing is the best. I'll highlight that in bold.
So one of the most essential. Let's.
No, we are the essential.
The essential.
They can't do anything without us. I'm so biased. But it is such a fascinating profession to be in, and I'm always so proud to be part of it. And it is something that my mother passed away in March, and we were the Just Plumbing girls, and our clients would say, go to those women, you're the woman, no, those two know, which is a very strange thing. I mean, people would think that in the Transkei people would be a bit more backwards, but it isn't. I've actually found that here in Gauteng, funnily enough. But anyway, that's been my journey in a nutshell. I enjoy what I do. I love what I do. And when I introduce myself, I always say I'm a licensed plumber first before anything else.
Oh, lekker. Listen, it's exactly that that ambition, that pride, that passion that you have for your trade, your industry, that has caused you or driven you and has been your inspiration and your motivation, your drive to achieve all the things that you have done and to just keep on achieving. And there's now yet something else, right? There's another level that you are pushing your plumbing career to. And I'm about to ask you what that is, but I think for our listeners and our viewers, please stay tuned, because I'm going to shoot her that question now after this break to ask what that next level is. But for you guys at home, wherever you're watching and listening to this episode, do stay tuned for the ad break. We're going to go to a quick ad break. Have a listen and a look at them. They are for your best. They're your best interest and your best benefit. Lorraine and I will be back right now. Welcome back. You're still tuned into a lekker business-orientated episode of the Professional Plumber Podcast with myself, Willem Klopper, and my guest, Lorraine Mooi. Just before we went into the ad break, we said, Lorraine, you shared with us a little bit of your journey within the trade and this industry. And it, we spoke about becoming properly qualified. We spoke about gaining years of experience. We spoke about joining industry bodies and becoming an auditor and co-founding the South African Women in Plumbing, the reasons behind it, the thought behind it. But now there's this new thing, this new level, this new achievement that you want to go for because you've got that hunger, you've got that burning passion and that burning ambition. You just want to, just like a steam train, just push forward. That is becoming a master plumber. Tell us about your decision to become a master plumber, to enroll for this and go for that sort of designation, recognition, whatever that is.
So it's come from three sides, I have to say. So everything I was able to achieve has been also because I had a mentor in the industry, Steve Brown and others, but Steve Brown mainly. And, they would say, Steve is a master plumber. And I always thought to myself, yo, imagine introducing myself, Lorraine Mooi, master plumber. I was like, he's got a kick to it.
It has a ring to it.
Then I'll just put the Lorraine Mooi, the Lorraine Mooi.
When we get to karate and the martial arts and stuff, and you call somebody a master, and it means that they are right up there.
It's a different level. I look at how the master plumbers conduct themselves. I look at what is asked to become a master plumber, and I looked at it and I said to myself, I've done all of this, but there's got to be more. And for me, there's always got to be more. Because I get restless. I get very restless if I'm not doing something. But master plumber, and ever since this designation came out, even years ago, I was like, that's the next thing. Because I saw you need this, and this. And I was like, okay, now I need to work there so I can get there. And when I was able to finally get those requirements, I was just like, yes, this is me. Let me pay my money and do this thing. And one of my mother fell ill last year, and one of the things she said to me is that I would love for you to be a master plumber.
Oh, wow.
And it is just something that it's not that I'm only doing it for myself, I'm doing it for her, it's in her memory. And also just really for the girls out there. People limit themselves because of their own ambitions. But sometimes when you see somebody else achieve something, it pushes you to want that and to achieve more. And hence why this is so imperative to me that I complete the master plumber and become a master plumber. Not for just the accolade or whatever it is, but what it means for the next generation of young women that are coming into this industry.
It's sort of setting the example, leading by example, and sort of setting the bar and showing the other ladies in the industry what can be achieved and what they can aim for. And the fact is that, it's like, I like that phrase that you use. You cannot become something that you cannot see. If there's an example of it, then you can become that.
Yeah, and that's why it's so imperative. And I'm very excited. It stresses me out, but I'm very excited about the journey. And also having Steve as my mentor, it's really just given me that extra comfort, even though he's a hard taskmaster, because I know him. But I'm very excited about the journey in itself. Yeah.
Lorraine, let's talk about the role of the master plumber within the trade and the industry itself. We know now what it means to you and why you've made that decision to take your plumbing career to that level and that next level. But what is the role of the master plumber in the industry?
I think, as you say, I think so aptly said it, when you go to karate and someone says the master, it's people that have an in-depth knowledge. And I think a lot of the times people see not only just mentors, but people in certain positions, and they think, I cannot be there. But also, how do I get to those people? And I think what the Master Plumber program and what it will do to industry is that it's really going to give people also a sense of pride.
Yeah.
Because there's the one thing that we are always seen as people in the trades, the plumbers, that we are dumb. Which is very surprising to me, because we're the ones that carry your drinkable water in pipes. We build your houses. But anyway.
Say it as it is. Say it as it is.
But, but to be a master, it tells you that you've taken yourself so seriously. You've taken your vocation seriously. And that also you are a leader in your industry.
Yes, I think
and that is so imperative, is that we look to the leaders of the industry, because they're the ones who set the tone. They're the ones who also help in certain ways, because, when you are... A lot of the masters are connected to certain organizations, and people listen to you when you have that kind of, you have that voice, because you're simply coming from a place of knowledge. When people call me and be like, "Listen, Lorraine, how the pipe is going?" I was like, I can't even see your pipe, sir. I'll send you a video, just so that you... Because they trust that I know what I'm doing. That's as a compliance auditor. Now, how much more as a master plumber? But also for female, it's very different, because that gives you just another level of respect. Because then I don't have to rattle on about da-da-da. I'm like, I'm Lorraine Mooi, master plumber. I'm so-and-so, master plumber. It's a different level of respect that's attached to that. And also, if we're able to show kids that a career projection takes you from here, you'll be an appy first, but eventually you can be a master plumber. Because career projection is very important to people, because then they understand, as I'm building my life up, I'm going to a certain goal. And that is why it's so imperative that the master plumber and what we do as plumbing industry is out there, that people understand that we are here for the improvement. We are here to do amazing things. And that is something where we need a next generation of individuals that are willing to take up the baton.
I see them, as you now explained. What comes into my mind is the role of leaders, the role of people who can take on more than just mentorship. Because, all plumbers mentor their appies and those kind of things. But this becomes a mentorship on a next level. It's becoming a guide to other plumbers, that they can look up to, come and ask for help. And also to sort of help those plumbers, the next generation, as you refer to achieve their full potential and to develop into the next level themselves. Whether that is just from appy to technical assistant or technical practitioner, or whatever the case may be, or to then qualified, whatever the case may be, but also to help them to develop and then progress within their trade and within their industry. Help them, guide them, be those leaders, be those mentors, whatever term or phrase we can use for it. That's how I see it and picture it. When you the things that you explained now, that's the visualization I get from it.
Yes.
Lorraine, I've got a couple of other questions for you. One of them is obviously going to be what and how does one become a plumber, or a master plumber for that matter. But I think just before we get there, let's just take another quick ad break. And then we are running short of time for this episode, but I do really want to close off the episode with those two questions that I have for you. So to our listeners and our viewers, have a look at these ad breaks quickly. They're for your interest and your benefit. Lorraine and I will be back right after this.
It's an exciting time to be a professionally registered plumber. The PIRB's leaderboard provides plumbers with the opportunity to be placed onto a ranking system to see how they perform amongst their peers around the country. This ranking system enables both plumbers and consumers to identify top local plumbers and monitor their performance nationally and regionally. Consumers will always look for the best, and at the top is where you'd want to be. It is therefore very important to be dedicated to continuously upskilling yourself through continuous professional development activities. The CPD points you accumulate during the CPD program will allow you to be rated on the leaderboard as you grow. The ranking system runs on a 3-month rolling average, where you can find yourself at the very top by accumulating more points than your peers. Top-ranked plumbers also stand a chance to win prizes through a lucky draw, where winners are announced on the PIRB's Plumbing 101 shows on YouTube. Do not miss out on the opportunity to be highlighted as an elite plumber in South Africa. Start accumulating points and become one of the best. Get skilled, get rewarded.
Welcome back. You're still tuned into an episode of the Professional Plumber Podcast, where myself, Willem Klopper, and Lorraine Mooi are having a discussion about the master plumber and becoming a master plumber. We've heard Lorraine's journey. We've heard about how she got into the plumbing industry and her journey throughout the years to where she is and what she has achieved up until now within her trade in the industry. And we've also heard what Lorraine's motivation and decision and drive and thought was behind enrolling for the Master Plumber program. And we've also heard and discussed what the role of the Master Plumber is within the industry. But Lorraine, now it boils down to the big question. What does it take? I mean, what are the requirements to either enroll for this program or to actually push through it and achieve it?
Okay, so guys, because I'm a plumber, I like to read things.
Like you do from the standards.
So I read from the standards. So I thought it would be apt for me to get what exactly PRB requires from you. I know what I needed at the time, but I want to be very clear so that you guys get proper information. So number one, you need to be qualified and a licensed plumber in good standing with PRB. Guys, please do your CPD. That's a belief, man. Continuous professional development is important. Then you need to have 2 specializations. Solar heat, which is, for example, solar heat pump. I think there's gas, assessor, whatever your 2 specializations are. Yes. Then you need to be a plumber with 5 years or more experience as a qualified plumber. So not that I'm happy and I can be master plumber tomorrow, no. Guys, let's not play games. Licensed, qualified, 5 years minimum at least. A plumber who has a breadth of experience. So you need to have not only just done maintenance work or domestic work, but also someone who's run a plumbing business, who has the experience in running a plumbing business. You also need to have completed an appropriate health and safety training course or relevant SHE experience. And people always ask, but why all of those things? Because you have to have looked at certain aspects. When we look at just the specializations, you need to have specialized in something. You need to know that, because remember, people always view specializations as just net to add on, which it isn't. You need to be licensed and qualified to have those designations. Obviously, having the experience of plumbing, running a business, because then you understand what it's like to be in the trenches, or what it's like to stress a month end and invoices, but also what this program is aimed to do is to make you a better business person, to make you better in those aspects so that you hone your skill. Because it's imperative that as a professional, because that's what we are, we're professionals, that you hone your skills, that you take your skills seriously, and you take your vocation very seriously.
And that you say now hone it to, in other words, improve it even more than what it is already, the level that it is already. But also so that you can eventually, getting back to that role that the Master Plumber fulfills, is to, then you can guide others. And you can give guidance and assistance and help to others. And, you can sort of teach them, educate them, sort of, help them grow and develop and learn more so that they one day also can start their own plumbing companies, etc. Again, taking on that form and that role of the leader.
But what also, I think, being a master plumber also entails that you learn from people around you. You cannot be a master of something if not willing to learn from anyone and everyone. And I think that's an imperative portion that people think that it's not that I'm the end all, I'm the be all and end all, is that you need to take also counsel from those that are still, because what people find is that the younger generations are always finding easier ways to do things. They will always find the easier way. And it may not make sense to you, but it is to give them that space to say, that's how innovations are born. If we didn't give the Wright brothers their innovation space, we guys would still be out here driving cars. If Ford hadn't had created a car, where would we be now? Garekis. So it's imperative, guys, that also within the plumbing space, that we allow that those individuals also teach us as potential master plumbers and the master plumbers within the industry as well.
Yeah. I haven't looked at it from that angle, but now that you said it. Lorraine, we're drawing to a close. We have to end off this episode. Do you have any last words? Maybe words of encouragement or motivation, or maybe plant the seed with our listeners and our viewers to also enroll for this program.
I think it's, we are so privileged to have such an organized profession. A lot of tradespeople do not have what we have, and we do, and I think we should not take it for granted. We have a clear projection, a career path, and to be able to become something as amazing as a master plumber, it's imperative that you do for yourself. It is such a joy to achieve something, and majority of the time we've done a lot of the work already. It's just really to just bring it all together so that you are able to say to yourself, you wake up in the morning, I'm so-and-so, master plumber. I'll be saying I'm Lorraine Mooi, master plumber, because, But and this is encouragement to everyone, ladies, gents, non-binaries, Almal, everybody on the train, that take your profession seriously, and honestly, it will take you to places you never thought you would. I'm privileged to go to amazing places, to meet amazing people. I mean, I met the governor the other day. He loves tradespeople. I met the president I will name drop, guys, because it's my profession that has gotten me there. I'm not going to say anything else. It is my profession that's gotten me there. And I'm very excited, and I hope that even from the listeners, that tomorrow there's a couple people that are enrolling for Master Plumber, because it'll enrich your life in a way that you have never imagined. Thank you.
Don't stagnate.
Never, guys. We're plumbers. Water moves. Also, move. Go higher and higher. That's what the world is about. Thank you so much, Willem.
Lorraine, thank you for your time. You know what? Time is money. You said it at the beginning of this conversation. Time is money. So I value yours, and I appreciate it. I appreciate just what you've shared, the enlightenment that you bring to us, to the studio, the energy that you bring. Yeah, always the sense of humor. Love it. So thanks, Lorraine. We really appreciate having you on the show. That concludes the conversation between myself and Lorraine. Unfortunately, we can carry on. There's much more to be said. But to our listeners and our viewers, please do stay tuned, because right after this, we're bringing you some awesome industry announcements.
IOPSA will be closing off the year with a Plumbers' Evening in Gauteng. The event will take place at Waterways Plumbing Supplies, number 254 Northumberland Avenue, Sundowner, Randburg, on the 23rd of November. And it will start at 6 p.m. 2 days to go to World Toilet Day. Be sure not to miss out on Friday the 17th of November. This time, the PIRB is taking it to the Sporting Hub, which is located at number 310A Bard Road, Seltersdal, Centurion. Feel free to join us from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. South African Women in Plumbing and Trades is calling on all aspiring artisans and tradeswomen to join them. Whether you are a seasoned professional or just starting out, SAWIPT is your platform to shine, grow and connect. Visit www.sawip.co.za to sign up.